Tears streaked down Sophia Zimmerman's face as she stood before the imposing iron gate of the Triple H Ranch, her trunks and carpetbag at her feet, the stagecoach that had abandoned her there now nothing but a dust cloud on the horizon. The year was 1873, and at 22 years old, she found herself entirely alone in the wild Wyoming Territory, miles from the nearest town, with nowhere to go and no one to turn to. She had come west on the promise of employment as a schoolteacher, only to discover upon arrival in Laramie that the position had been filled weeks ago. The telegram informing her had apparently never reached Boston. With her meager savings dwindling, she had taken the last of her money and purchased passage to the Triple H, having heard they were looking for a housekeeper. Now, as the late afternoon sun beat down on her pale skin and the wind whipped at her skirts, she regretted her impulsiveness. Sophia wiped furiously at her tears, feeling foolish and desperate. The ranch house was visible in the distance, perhaps a quarter-mile up the drive, but the gate was locked with a heavy chain and she had no way of announcing her presence. She considered climbing over, but her corset and layers of petticoats made such an undignified action impossible. "What brings a lady like you to my gate?" The deep voice startled her, and she whirled around to find a man on horseback watching her with curious eyes. He wore a dust-covered Stetson, a faded blue shirt with the sleeves rolled up to reveal tanned, muscular forearms, and a leather vest. A revolver was holstered at his hip. She began, but her voice caught. She cleared her throat and stood straighter, determined to maintain whatever dignity she had left. "I was told the Triple H Ranch needed a housekeeper. I've come to apply for the position." The man dismounted with fluid grace, his boots raising small puffs of dust when they hit the ground. He was tall, broad-shouldered, and sun-bronzed with piercing blue eyes that studied her intently. "That position was filled 2 weeks ago," he said, not unkindly. "Did you come all this way for it?" Fresh tears threatened, but Sophia blinked them back. "Yes. I arrived in Laramie this morning only to discover the teaching position I was promised had been given to someone else." Something in the man's expression softened. He removed his hat, revealing thick chestnut hair that curled slightly at his collar. "I'm Adam Hawkins. This is my family's ranch." "Sophia Zimmerman," she replied, extending her hand as proper etiquette demanded, though she felt ridiculous doing so while standing teary-eyed before a locked gate in the middle of nowhere. Instead of shaking her hand, Adam took it gently in his and bowed slightly. "Miss Zimmerman, it appears you've had a difficult journey. While we don't need a housekeeper, I can't in good conscience leave you stranded here. Let me open this gate and we'll figure something out." He produced a key from his pocket and unlocked the chain. The hinges creaked loudly as he pushed the gate open, wide enough for his horse to pass through. "I don't wish to impose," Sophia said, though she had no alternatives. Adam smiled, and it transformed his weathered face. "My mother would skin me alive if I left a lady alone with night coming on." "She raised me better than that." He gathered her bags with one hand and offered her his arm with the other. "Can you walk a bit, or would you prefer to ride Samson here?" Sophia glanced at the massive horse and shook her head. "I'll walk, thank you." As they made their way up the drive, Adam asked about her journey west, and Sophia found herself telling him about leaving Boston after her parents' deaths, hoping to make a fresh start as a teacher. "Teaching's in my blood," she explained. "My father was a professor at Harvard. When the fever took both my parents last winter, I had no reason to stay. I thought the West offered opportunities for educated women." "It does," Adam said, "but Wyoming Territory is still raw, beautiful but unforgiving." The ranch house grew larger as they approached a substantial 2-story structure built of sturdy logs with a wide porch wrapping around the front. Smoke curled from the chimney, and the smell of cooking food made Sophia's stomach growl embarrassingly. "When did you last eat?" Adam asked. "This morning. A biscuit on the stage," he frowned. "Then you'll join us for supper. After that, we'll talk about what can be done." A woman emerged from the house as they approached, silver-haired but straight-backed, wearing a practical calico dress with an apron. "Adam Hawkins, who have you brought home?" she called. "Mother, this is Miss Sophia Zimmerman. She's had a stroke of bad luck." "Miss Zimmerman, my mother, Martha Hawkins." To Sophia's surprise, Martha's face lit up. "The teacher from Boston." "Oh my, we received a telegram yesterday saying you wouldn't be coming after all." Confused, Sophia looked between mother and son. "I don't understand. I was told the teaching position in Laramie was filled." "Not Laramie," Martha said, taking Sophia's arm and leading her up the porch steps. "Our settlement. Eagle Creek has been waiting for a teacher for months. The children are using the church for lessons, but we've nearly finished building a proper schoolhouse." Hope flickered in Sophia's chest. "There's truly a teaching position available." "Indeed there is," Martha assured her. "The town council will be delighted. Come inside now. You look dead on your feet." The interior of the ranch house was surprisingly refined, with polished wood floors, comfortable furniture, and shelves lined with books. Martha showed Sophia to a guest room upstairs, where a basin of water waited for her to refresh herself before supper. Left alone, Sophia sat on the edge of the bed and allowed herself a moment of relief. Perhaps her impulsive journey wasn't a complete disaster after all. Still, she couldn't help but wonder about the tall cowboy who had opened the gate for her. Something in his blue eyes had stirred feelings she'd thought long buried after her disastrous courtship with a Harvard colleague who had proven to be more interested in her modest inheritance than in her. Supper was a hearty affair of roast beef, potatoes, fresh bread, and apple pie for dessert. Adam's younger brother Benjamin joined them, along with 3 ranch hands who ate quickly and returned to their duties. The conversation flowed easily, with Martha asking about Boston and sharing news of Eagle Creek. "It's a growing settlement," she explained. "The railway's coming through next year and folks are building for the future. The town needs a good teacher badly." "I'm certified to teach all grades," Sophia said. "And I brought my books. How many students would I have?" "About 20, Martha replied. "Ages 6 to 16. Some can only attend in winter when ranch work slows down." After the meal, while Martha prepared coffee, Adam invited Sophia to step onto the porch. The evening was mild, with stars beginning to appear in the darkening sky. "Thank you for your kindness today," she said softly. "I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't come along." Adam leaned against a post, studying her. "What would you have done in Boston if your teaching position fell through?" The question caught her off guard. I suppose I would have sought another, or perhaps worked as a governess. But you came west instead." "My parents are gone. My only remaining family is a cousin in Philadelphia whom I barely know. I wanted." She hesitated, unsure how to explain the restlessness that had driven her westward. "Adventure," Adam suggested. Sophia smiled. "Perhaps, or purpose, a place to belong." "Eagle Creek could be that place," he said. "It's rough around the edges, but good people are putting down roots. The school needs someone who cares about education." "You speak as though you have a personal interest," he nodded. "I do. I'm on the town council and—" He hesitated. "My daughter will be starting school this fall." Surprise must have shown on Sophia's face. "I'm a widower," he explained. "Caroline died in childbirth 5 years ago. Lily lives here with me and my mother." "I'm sorry for your loss," Sophia said softly. "Thank you, it was difficult. But Lily needs a proper education. Many in Eagle Creek feel the same about their children." The following morning, Adam drove Sophia to Eagle Creek in the family wagon. The settlement was smaller than she'd imagined: a church, general store, saloon, blacksmith, and a dozen or so houses clustered along a dusty main street. The half-finished schoolhouse stood at the edge of town, its frame complete but lacking windows and interior furnishings. "It's not Boston," Adam said, watching her reaction carefully. "No," Sophia agreed, "but it has potential." They stopped at the general store, which doubled as the post office. The proprietor, Samuel Grant, was also the mayor, and he greeted Sophia enthusiastically. "Miss Zimmerman." "What a blessing you've arrived. We feared you weren't coming after all." "There was some confusion with the telegrams," she explained. "Well, no matter. You're here now. We can offer $15 a month plus room and board with the Wilsons until the teacher's cottage is built." It wasn't much, but it was a start. Sophia agreed to the terms and was introduced to Mrs. Wilson, a kindly woman with grown children who had a spare bedroom in her neat little house. By the end of the week, Sophia had settled into her room at the Wilsons, met most of the families whose children would be her pupils, and helped plan the completion of the schoolhouse. Adam rode into town nearly every day on various errands, always finding time to check on her progress. On Sunday, after church services, he invited her to return to the ranch for dinner. "Lily is eager to meet her new teacher," he explained, "and Mother has been asking after you." The little girl proved to be a miniature version of her father with the same chestnut hair and blue eyes. She was shy at first but warmed quickly when Sophia showed interest in her collection of carved wooden animals. "Papa makes them for me," Lily explained, showing off a delicately crafted horse. "One for each birthday." "Your father is very talented," Sophia said, genuinely impressed by the artistry. Adam, overhearing, looked embarrassed. "Just a hobby during the winter months." After dinner, while Martha and Lily baked cookies, Adam invited Sophia to see the rest of the ranch. They walked past the barn and corrals, where horses grazed peacefully, to a ridge overlooking the property. "The Triple H has been in my family for 15 years, Adam said. "My father claimed the land when he came west after the war. He built it from nothing." "It's beautiful," Sophia said sincerely, taking in the vast expanse of grassland, the distant mountains, and the creek winding through the valley. "Life here isn't easy," Adam cautioned. "Winters are harsh, summers can bring drought. There are wolf packs, rustlers, and sometimes tensions with the remaining native tribes. Yet you stay," he nodded. "I can't imagine being anywhere else. This land gets into your blood." As the weeks passed, Sophia threw herself into preparing for the school term. The schoolhouse was completed with the help of the entire community, including Adam and his ranch hands. Simple desks were built, books were unpacked, and a bell was mounted on the roof. On the evening before the first day of classes, Adam appeared at the Wilsons' door with Lily. "We brought you something," he said, handing Sophia a small wooden box. Inside was a beautifully carved apple with the words "Miss Zimmerman's School" engraved on a tiny brass plate affixed to the base. "It's tradition to give the teacher an apple," Lily explained seriously. "This is the most special apple I've ever received," Sophia said, kneeling to hug the child. When she stood, her eyes met Adam's, and something unspoken passed between them. His expression was warm, almost tender, and Sophia felt a fluttering in her chest that she hadn't experienced in years. The school term began with 23 students of varying ages and abilities. Sophia quickly established a routine, dividing the children into groups based on their knowledge rather than age. Lily proved to be bright and eager to learn, often staying after class to help clean the blackboard or organize books. Adam continued to visit town regularly, sometimes bringing Lily but often coming alone. He began escorting Sophia on walks after school or inviting her to Sunday dinners at the ranch. Their conversations ranged from literature. Adam was surprisingly well-read to ranching, politics, and Sophia's life in Boston. As autumn painted the landscape in golds and reds, Sophia realized she had found not just purpose in Eagle Creek, but happiness. She enjoyed teaching, had made friends among the townspeople, and looked forward to Adam's visits with an eagerness that both thrilled and frightened her. One crisp October afternoon, as they walked along the creek that gave the settlement its name, Adam suddenly stopped and turned to face her. "Sophia, I've been meaning to ask something." Her heart quickened. "Yes, the harvest dance is next Saturday. Would you accompany me?" It was a simple invitation, but they both knew it signified more than a casual outing. In a small community like Eagle Creek, being seen together at a social event was practically a declaration of intentions. "I would be delighted," she replied, trying to keep her voice steady. The night of the dance arrived clear and cool. Sophia wore her best dress, navy blue silk with modest lace trim, and Mrs. Wilson helped arrange her hair in a becoming style. When Adam appeared at the door in a clean white shirt, dark vest, and polished boots, his hair neatly combed, she felt a rush of affection so strong it nearly took her breath away. The town hall was transformed with lanterns and autumn decorations. A small band played lively tunes, and tables groaned under the weight of pies, cakes, and other delicacies. Adam was attentive throughout the evening, bringing her punch, introducing her to ranchers who lived too far out for regular visits to town, and claiming her for every appropriate dance. During a break in the music, they stepped outside for fresh air. The stars were brilliant overhead, and the air was crisp with the promise of winter. "Are you happy here, Sophia?" Adam asked quietly. She considered the question seriously. "Yes, I believe I am, more than I expected to be." "Even though it's nothing like Boston." "Perhaps because it's nothing like Boston," she replied. "There I was always Professor Zimmerman's daughter, defined by my family's position. Here I'm myself." Adam took her hand, his touch warm and reassuring. "I've come to care for you, Sophia." Very deeply, her heart pounded. "And I for you, Adam." He leaned closer, hesitated just a moment, then kissed her gently. His lips were warm against hers, and Sophia felt herself responding with unexpected fervor. When they broke apart, both were slightly breathless. "I should like to court you properly," he said. "If you're willing." "I am," she whispered. Their courtship progressed through the winter months. Adam visited the school regularly, often bringing small gifts, handcrafted bookmarks, wildflower honey from his hives, or books ordered from Denver. Sophia became a frequent guest at the Triple H, developing a warm relationship with Martha and growing closer to Lily, who delighted in having her teacher's special attention. As Christmas approached, Eagle Creek prepared for its annual celebration. The school children performed a nativity play, which Sophia directed with passion and patience. Adam helped build the stable backdrop, staying late into the evening to ensure everything was perfect. On Christmas Eve, after the performance, Adam invited Sophia to the ranch for their traditional family dinner. Martha outdid herself with a feast of roast goose, sweet potatoes, and mince pies. Lily, excited about Santa's impending visit, could hardly sit still. After the little girl was finally tucked into bed, Adam led Sophia to the parlor, where a large evergreen was decorated with paper chains, candles, and small wooden ornaments, many clearly made by his own hand. "I have something for you," he said, retrieving a small package from beneath the tree. Inside was a silver locket on a delicate chain. When opened, it revealed a miniature painting of the Triple H Ranch on one side and the schoolhouse on the other, both exquisitely rendered. "Adam, it's beautiful," Sophia gasped. "Did you paint these yourself?" He nodded, suddenly looking boyishly shy. "I wanted you to have something that represented both parts of your life here." "I'll treasure it always," she said, turning so he could fasten it around her neck. As his fingers brushed her skin, Sophia felt that now familiar warmth spreading through her. When she turned back to face him, his expression was serious. "Sophia, these past months have been the happiest I've known since Caroline died. You've brought joy back into my life and into Lily's." He took both her hands in his. "I don't want to rush you, but I need you to know my intentions are serious. I hope that someday, when you're ready, you might consider becoming part of our family permanently." Tears welled in Sophia's eyes. "Oh, Adam, you don't need to answer now," he said quickly. "I know it's a big decision. You've built a life here as a teacher, and I would never ask you to give that up." "I'm not crying because I'm uncertain," she said, squeezing his hands. "I'm crying because I'm happy. I came west looking for a new beginning, never imagining I might find love as well." His face lit up. "Then you." "Yes, Adam, when the time is right, I would be honored to become your wife." He pulled her into his arms, kissing her with a passion that left no doubt about his feelings. Spring arrived with new challenges. Heavy rains swelled the creek to dangerous levels. washing out bridges and flooding low-lying areas. The school was forced to close for 2 weeks, and Adam worked tirelessly with other ranchers to rescue stranded livestock and repair damage. During this difficult time, Sophia stayed at the Triple H, helping Martha care for Lily and keeping the household running while Adam and his men worked from dawn until dusk. The experience gave her a deeper understanding of ranch life and the constant struggle against nature's whims. When the waters finally receded and life returned to normal, Adam proposed formally, offering a simple gold band that had belonged to his grandmother. "I know it's not fancy," he said apologetically. "It's perfect," Sophia assured him, slipping it onto her finger. "When shall we marry?" They decided on June, after the school term ended and before the busiest part of the ranching season. The entire settlement buzzed with excitement over the upcoming wedding of their teacher and the respected rancher. Martha and the ladies of the church took charge of preparations, while Adam and his men ensured the ranch was in perfect order to receive wedding guests. Sophia wrote to her cousin in Philadelphia, who surprised her by agreeing to attend and offering to bring some personal items Sophia had left in storage. On her wedding day, Sophia woke to brilliant sunshine. The ceremony was to be held at the church, with a celebration afterward at the Triple H. Mrs. Wilson helped her dress in a gown of ivory silk, a gift from her cousin with Martha's lace veil. Lily, serving as flower girl, couldn't stop twirling in her new blue dress. "You look beautiful, Miss Zimmerman," the child said solemnly. "Are you going to be my mother now?" Sophia knelt to embrace her. "If you'd like me to be." Lily nodded enthusiastically. "Papa says you already are in all the ways that matter." At the church, it seemed the entire community had gathered. Adam waited at the altar, looking handsome and slightly nervous in his best suit. When Sophia walked down the aisle on Mayor Grant's arm, she saw Adam's eyes fill with tears. The ceremony was simple but heartfelt. They exchanged traditional vows, promising to love and honor each other through all of life's joys and sorrows. When the minister pronounced them husband and wife, Adam's kiss was tender yet passionate, prompting cheers from the assembled guests. The celebration at the ranch lasted well into the evening. Tables were set up in the yard beneath flowering apple trees, laden with food contributed by every household in Eagle Creek. There was music, dancing, and so much goodwill that Sophia felt overwhelmed by the community's acceptance and support. As twilight descended, Adam led his bride away from the festivities to the ridge where they had walked months earlier. "Happy?" he asked, wrapping his arms around her from behind as they gazed out over the land that was now their shared home. "Completely," she replied, leaning back against his solid chest. "I never imagined when I was standing at your gate in tears that day that I would find such happiness." "I knew the moment I saw you," Adam confessed. "Something told me you were meant to be here, even if you didn't know it yet." Sophia turned in his arms. "I'm glad you opened that gate, Adam Hawkins." "Best decision I ever made, Sophia Hawkins," he replied, before kissing her beneath the vast Wyoming sky. Their first year of marriage brought adjustments as Sophia balanced her roles as wife, stepmother, and teacher. Adam built an addition to the ranch house, a private sitting room where Sophia could grade papers and prepare lessons. In town, construction began on a larger school to accommodate the growing population, with living quarters for a second teacher. The following spring, Sophia discovered she was expecting a child. The news brought joy to the entire family, with Lily particularly excited about becoming a big sister. Adam was attentive throughout Sophia's pregnancy, insisting she cut back on her teaching duties as her time grew closer. Their son, Daniel James Hawkins, was born on a snowy December night in 1875, with Martha and the local midwife attending. Adam paced anxiously outside the bedroom door until his mother finally invited him in to meet his son. "He's perfect," Adam whispered, cradling the tiny bundle with experienced hands. "Just like his mother." As the years passed, the Triple H prospered under Adam's management, expanding its operations to include not just cattle but also horse breeding. Sophia continued teaching until the arrival of their second child, Elizabeth, in 1878, after which she focused on raising their growing family and supporting Adam's work. Lily grew into a beautiful young woman with her father's love of the land and Sophia's passion for learning. She eventually attended a women's college in Denver, the first in Eagle Creek, to pursue higher education before returning to teach alongside her stepmother in the now thriving school. Daniel inherited his father's ranching skills and Martha's practical nature, while Elizabeth combined Adam's artistic talents with Sophia's love of literature. The family weathered the inevitable hardships of frontier life droughts, blizzards, economic downturns with resilience and unity. By 1893, 20 years after Sophia had stood in tears at the gate of the Triple H, Eagle Creek had grown into a proper town with a railway station, bank, and hotel. The Hawkins family was respected throughout the region, not just for their successful ranch but for their contributions to the community's development. On their 20th wedding anniversary, Adam surprised Sophia with a trip to Boston, their first journey east together. They visited her parents' graves, called on former colleagues, and attended performances at theaters Sophia had frequented in her youth. "Do you ever regret it?" Adam asked as they strolled through the public garden, "leaving all this civilization for Wyoming?" Sophia smiled up at him, the silver now threading through her dark hair matching his own. "Not for a single moment. Boston was my past. You, our children, the Triple H, that's my life, my home. Even on days when the wind howls and the pipes freeze and the cattle break through the fences." He teased. "Even then," she assured him, linking her arm through his. "I found more than I ever dreamed when you opened that gate for me, Adam Hawkins. And I found everything I never knew I needed when you appeared there in tears," he replied, bending to kiss her in the middle of the bustling Boston Park, as much in love after 20 years as they had been on their wedding day. Together they had built a life rich in purpose, family, and community, proof that sometimes the greatest adventures begin with a locked gate, a chance encounter, and the courage to embrace an unexpected future on the wild Wyoming frontier.